Welcome to Tech with Heart. I am your host, Michelle Calloway, and today we are talking about Google Maps and how Google Maps can help you, especially your local business, shine and attract clients to you. It's one of the hottest new ways to get your business seen. And so Tech with Heart is all about empowering entrepreneurs to embrace technology so that you can stay competitive and relevant. So today's special guest is somebody very, very knowledgeable of what's trending when it comes to advertising. His name is Byron Ingraham, and he is a marketing strategist, and he's also a U.S. Air Force veteran. And he has done a great job building and scaling businesses on military bases all around the world. And now he's here to help you and me grow our business using smart, innovative techniques. He's also an author, and I cannot wait for you to learn from him. I love his innovative strategies that he's always implementing. He is not old school. He's always on top of trends. And that's one of the things that Tech with Heart strives to do, is to share with you what's really working now. So welcome to the stage, Byron. Thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
So let's dive in, shall we? I mean,
Sure,
share with us. We are mostly addressing issues for small business owners to help them, because 90% of business owners struggle with technology. And so Google Maps, tell us a little bit more about why a small business owner should be looking at potentially spending any dollars in advertising, specifically using Google Maps versus any other methodology.
Well, it's very straightforward, Michelle. If we think about how do we make buying decisions, I'm going to use an example here. Imagine that you're out in a town someplace, let's say in San Francisco, and you're hungry, like, oh my gosh, we need to go and eat something. What are you going to do? You're going to pull out your phone, you go to Google, and you type in, let's say, restaurants near me, or seafood near me, or hot dogs near me. Guess what happens as a result? It pulls up a listing of everything that's around you, and it's on Google Maps. But what do? We look not just in the map section, we look in that little 3-pack section of what restaurants are nearby, and we typically choose one of those as long as it meets what we're looking for. So that's how things have shifted dramatically over time, where it's not about trying to do everything under the sun. We want to go where people are at, because it's not just for restaurants. We make these decisions off of, let's say we need a plumber, we need an electrician, we need a massage, we need just about anything. That's where we're going.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, think about it, you guys, those that are listening. When you are looking for somebody or someone or a professional of any sort, or like you mentioned, restaurant, what is it that you do? You hit the search bar on your mobile, or you're on your computer if you happen to be near your computer. And so Google Maps is blowing everybody away when it comes to advertising, especially for local small businesses. So
Right.
Can you share with us, Byron, okay, so we're not going to go into the nuts and bolts, like really down to the details. This is more of an overview, because we just want to help you understand concepts. So Tech with Heart's about enlightening and empowering. So we are going to talk a little bit about some of the how, but Byron, when you're a small business owner and you're like, oh, wow, that makes so much sense. I mean, what would be some of the first steps for a small business owner to do in order to utilize this very powerful advertising tool?
So there's a couple things that you want to make sure you do. The first thing is ensuring all of your information is correct, because it doesn't do you any good. Let's say if your hours of operation have changed because you might have been closed for a period of time with the pandemic, or you changed locations. I mean, the list goes on and on. So if people can't do business with you by finding out that you're open or not, how can they spend money with you? So that's one of the first things that we want to make sure is accurate.
So how do they go about doing that, Byron?
It's quite simple. What you're doing is you're just logging into your Google My Business, and then you're just simply going to the section for your hours of operation. And you want to make sure that's accurate. Let's say you're open from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever it is. You just pick those particular times for each of the times that you're there for. That's it. It's very straightforward.
So I'm going to go ahead and just interject here. If any of you have been hanging around with us on Tech with Heart for a while, you'll know that we have 7 steps to boosting your credibility online. And what he just mentioned, it's called Google My Business. Some of you still have not created a Google My Business account. It is free. It is Google's way of helping you get discovered. So please actually go and Google My Business and click on the link and create your business profile there. It actually gives you somewhat of like a mini website, and Google is going to favor that because it's on Google's platform. So that is what he's talking about. You enter your hours of operation, you enter beautiful pictures of your business, videos of your business. You can enter your products, services right there. And you can also lead people to give Google reviews there. Google My Business. Top primo thing to do for you to get discovered online. Okay, back to you, Byron. So after they do that, then what do you suggest?
Well, another thing that's extremely important are the pictures, because normally what's going to happen is if you don't put anything in there, it's going to populate with whatever images are around. And there's nothing worse than, let's say, it's associated with an address and it's an image of, let's say, a garbage can. That has happened when I'm looking at images for restaurants. Like, I don't know if that's very appetizing. There's a dumpster there. And that's not what you want, because you can be able to put in pictures of people being happy, of inside the restaurant. I mean, the list goes on and on of what you can do, because the images are there for you to tell a story. And that's what you want to do. Don't let it just any image whatsoever be placed there, because it's not what you want. Think of it like this. You have those 10 seconds to make an impression with somebody. And if the impression is a dumpster, and you're not in the dumpster business, what does it say about your business? If someone's seeing that, like, if you're going to go out for sushi and they see a dumpster, you're probably not going to be very hungry. So you want to make sure that the images that are showing up there are reflective of what story you want to tell.
Absolutely. I noticed that Google, so like, let's just say somebody's Googling businesses similar to yours. It's going to serve it up on if you're in your local area specifically. That's where it really shines.
Right.
But if you don't have photos there, it'll show people what it thinks it should show. Like there's a Google Earth, like I've ever heard, where they show pictures of what your location looks like. So if you don't provide better looking images than that, then Google's going to try to present something for you on your behalf. So please do your diligence, provide excellent quality, warm, inviting photos of your product or service, or get reviews going as quickly as possible after creating Google My Business account, because that's social proof. That's what people want to hear. They want to see validity in order to choose you over your competitors.
Right.
And there's also the beautiful ability to post regularly. So if you believe in blogging, holy smokes, you should be doing blogging on your Google My Business account, because it's getting broadcast. Google will push you out there. He'll recommend you. Google will recommend you to others, but you want to do your part and give them as much quality, valid reasons for choosing you. So please, please, please do this. Google My Business. It is one of the most easiest and simplest guerrilla tactics. But then Byron's going to talk a little bit more as we go on in this interview about how we can take that positioning and now use it in a paid advertising way to really drive traffic to your business.
Right.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that you mentioned there, which is extremely important, are reviews, because we look for social proof before we buy anything. As an example, if you're going to Amazon, what are you doing when you're looking at products? You start seeing how many reviews there are for any particular item. And then if there are 2 similar items, what do? You typically go for the one that has more reviews. The same thing applies when you're looking at Google My Business. If there's 2 restaurants there and they look similar or close by, you start looking for the one that has more reviews, that are more favorable. Like, oh, wow, this one has 500 positive reviews. This is great. I want to go there, versus the one that has 5. And there are so many easy ways that you can be able to get reviews. The simplest one that you can do is just to ask your customers, hey, if you enjoyed your meal today, or you enjoyed the service, do us a huge favor and go to Google My Business and leave us a review. That's simple.
And Google does give it give you a link to send others so that all they have to do is click a button and it takes them straight to your Google My Business account online, straight to the review section. So they don't have to do any digging. It's just click and leave a review. Boom, you're up and running. So highly recommend asking. If you don't ask, you don't receive. So it's a great idea to even implement a follow-up email in your sequence that includes that, that button to go click and leave you a review, and do them a favor and go review their business too. It's a beautiful thing when there's a win-win involved.
Right, exactly. It's just a key thing that you want to be able to do, because the more social proof, the better. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
And I just want to also point out that some of us, may feel like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't know what to say. Just go do your best. When you leave a review for somebody else, then it's okay to kind of enlighten others that are reading that review as to who you are and what you do, while you're also recommending the other business. So it's actually a win-win, because it gives you clout and visibility on their website about who you are. So if somebody says, oh, wow, Michelle does, media and she gets people on TV and now she's recommending this automotive company, then wow, maybe if I need a television show or I want to start, getting myself on TV, I should click her name and go find out who she is. Ta-da! Free advertising. Ding, ding, ding.
Right, exactly. It's just a very simple thing that you can be able to do. And it's a must in today's world.
It really is. And so what is your feeling about this new Google Maps advertising versus like is it superior now versus a SEO or a website? I mean, what can you say to its power, and where should we be focusing our attention? I mean, obviously we want everybody to do this. Google My Business. It's Google My Business, guys. On Google, just Google My Business and click on the link and create your account. But Byron, what do you have to say about that?
So the short answer is, I like to say it depends, and here's why. If you're a local type business where you're servicing a particular community, you want to put your emphasis on the map section, and here's why. 46% of searches on a daily basis, and we're in terms of numbers globally, 3.5 billion, to kind of put that in perspective, are for things on a local level. So you're talking about almost half of the searches out there are for things that are in your community, for products, services, whatever you're looking for, it's right there. And this is where it also gets to be mind blown. When you have that map section there, 75% of the clicks for that term go to one of those three spots. Yes, exactly. So when you're thinking of where to put your focus at, it's right there. Because you think about your normal buying habits. What do? You see the ads at the top, you skip past it. What's the next thing you see? There's the map section with those three businesses that pop up there. And here's the advantage when you're doing it from your phone. You can be able just to click a button and call them. You don't get that on other types of platforms. Because if you're just doing regular SEO, well, you just have a link to your website. Well, that's great and all, you're found there, but now if someone wants directions, they can easily just say, oh, I want to go here, and poof, they have directions there. Or they have a question. Let's say that you need things that are gluten-free. You can go to call and say, hey, do you have any items gluten-free? Yes, absolutely. Come on over. We'll save you a table. Boom, you're done. So there's that distinct advantage that you're not getting anywhere else. So when you're looking at the most economical way for a business to be able to promote and grow themselves, it's not putting your emphasis on Google AdWords right now because so many people skip past it. It's not doing the traditional SEO because that's below the map section. It's right there with Google My Business and the maps.
Being able to do business online is crucial for survival, especially during times of social distancing. So how do you survive and thrive in the sea of digital noise? It's a lot like fishing. You need to know who your perfect customer is so that you can use the right kind of lure to attract them. We help you catch your perfect customer and retain them for future sales through highly converting websites, influencer mobile apps, getting you featured in the news and on TV. Hi, my name is Jerry Bowden, U.S. Army veteran and president of Revealio Software Solutions. Our goal is to help you rise above the competition, be seen as an expert authority in your industry, and embrace technology to stay competitive for long-term success. It's more affordable than you may think. So reach out to us at Revealio.com, and together we will make your business come alive.
Not to say that you shouldn't be doing it all, but if you had to choose, Google My Business is one of the easiest, and it's free, top ways to get your business listed on top pages of Google. So use the map feature. It's a beautiful tool. I know that Tech with Heart Foundation, we just launched our brand new Google My Business page just the other day, and we've already gotten searches, a lot of them just through the maps feature alone. And so it's powerful. If you have a business, whether it's products in your storefront that people want to come visit, whether it's a restaurant or automotive,
Right.
even if you're a service-based business, it'll serve you up if people are searching for that type of business.
Right. And to put in perspective why this is so much more powerful than the other forms of advertising, I'm going to use criminal defense attorneys, because in a lot of big cities, it can be cost prohibitive for a solo practicing attorney to be able to advertise. Like here in Dallas, as an example, if you want to do terms like DWI lawyer and things like that, you could be spending hundreds of dollars just for the click. We're not talking about someone calling, just for someone clicking that link at the top of Google. And so if you don't have a large war chest of dollars to spend on that, which means that you're charging more to your clients, you can't compete with large law firms. But if you can show up in the 3-pack section in the map area, well, now you're competing because people are going past the ads and going straight there. That's the difference.
I know I personally prefer to go for the organic listings versus the advertising listings. I don't know why. It's probably because I'm just a little bit biased. I'm a small business owner, and I don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on Google ads.
Yeah.
And so I want to know who's actually there that I can determine whether I want to do business with, rather than them force fed to me through ads.
Right.
But this Google My Business Maps advertising concept is something that you do now for small businesses, and you've seen it scale their business and lead generation. So can you speak to us a little bit about what it does look like beyond the organic when you start throwing money into the paid version of Google Maps advertising?
Well, here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to use the paid advertising component of it, because think about SEO. If you're hiring a company to do SEO on your website, so you're ranking there, it's the same thing. So there's specific strategies to make sure your business is ranking in the map section for different keywords, which is just as effective, because people see that ad thing, they skip past it. They go straight to the organic ones. The philosophy is still the same. So we want to make sure we're following through with that and making sure, like, oh, look, here you are showing organically for the keywords that relate it to your business. This is not to say that advertising in terms of paid ads don't work, but well, why do that when we can get the same or better results organically?
So can you give us like for instance, with a couple of your clients and what they were doing before, and then what you've seen for them as you've helped them boost up their credibility and their keyword listings through the Google My Business accounts?
Sure. So I'll give you some examples of what can happen. Let me use, let's say, a foundation repair company. And before, like, these are brand new businesses, they're not showing up the right way. But once we figure out what are the keywords for their business, and we do a lot of extensive research to figure out what are the ones that people are actually buying for. And what I mean by that is there's informational keywords and there's buyer keywords. You always want the ones that are buyers, because that's where people are further along in the buying process. If you're, let's say, looking for gluten-free pizza, you're probably thinking about it because you actually want to buy it versus just pizza. Well, that's more general. So the more specific you can be, the better. And that's what we want to look for. But in case it's like foundation repair company, guess what? Now they're getting the calls because they're showing up in their community and the surrounding cities in that area. That's the beautiful thing about it, and it's all organic. So instead of having to pay per click, which will add up pretty fast, well, now they're paying one monthly fee and they're getting all these calls in this area, because when people are searching for, let's say, foundation repair of cracked foundation or whatever the terms are, they're coming up and people are calling them. They're not going to their website like, oh my gosh, you're right here. They're clicking the call button.
Yeah, I love this feature. I love it. So specific keywords, that is one of your strategies. Be very specific as you can possibly be, to hone in on those that you mentioned called the buyer personality, or that they're at the buyer's phase of the journey.
Right.
So know your avatar. That's like the number one
Right.
thing in the realm of marketing, is
Right.
know who it is you're targeting and know what they're searching for. And there's ways to do that research too, but that's a whole nother topic.
Oh,
We
yes.
just wanted to let you know that Google My Business, it's a free place to build your business, but then you mentioned a monthly fee. Can you speak to us a little bit more about, I know you actually do work for businesses in this arena. Can you share with us a little bit about how you step in so that people don't feel like they have to figure this all out on their own? That's huge when it comes to the Tech with Heart enlightenment and empowerment part, is that we really want to help guide those that feel very uncertain and unsure of the technology realm, who they should work with and how that's going to look and feel as they journey down that path.
Sure, I can definitely speak to that, Michelle. The way you want to look at it is like this. If you had a toothache, would you grab a set of pliers and try to do it yourself? Probably not. The same thing applies here because it's a moving target. With Google making hundreds of changes to the algorithm every year, you don't want to try to figure out like, well, what's working now? Because the things that worked, let's say 5 years ago, are not necessarily working today. So you always have to be on top of, well, what you should be doing, how does it work? But here's the critical thing. You're an expert in your business. And when you have to spend time doing other things, that means you're not spending time doing the revenue generating activities, that's selling to clients, that's prospecting, that's working in your business, working on it. You can't do that if you're trying to learn something else. So we take that off of your plate so you can focus on your zone of genius instead of trying to figure out, well, how does this SEO thing work? Of that, do I need to optimize all these images? Well, how many links need to go here? Do I need to do these other things because I read this one blog post, I watched this YouTube video that said to do these other things? You don't want to do that because it will create this information overload, and then you do nothing because you hear this person says one thing, you see another person say another thing, and then there's the confusion. Like, well, they say this, that other guy's not right, and that one says this person doesn't work. So what do? Don't worry about it. Focus on your business, and let us make sure that you're getting found there.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And one of the reasons why I feel so excited about Tech with Heart Network is that we do build a heart-centered, warm referral network with all of our members and all of our expert influencers. And so Byron has been vetted, and Byron is one of those really innovative, heart-centered experts that's part of our Tech with Heart family. And so I feel very, very comfortable in, letting him come in here and guide you, direct you, work alongside you. He will take good care of you. So Byron, if they are interested in reaching out and taking advantage of this incredibly disruptive and effective Google Maps advertising feature, how can they reach out to you?
Well, the simple way to do it, besides thinking, let's say carrier pigeons and those old-fashioned methods out there, is simply to go to my website, which is azuremedia.co. That's AZUREMEDIA.co, not .com, .co. And then you click the button at the top of the page to schedule a 30-minute consultation with me where we take a look at your business and figure out what's going to work best, because I'm going to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Because the difference between what we do and other companies is others are going to try to sell you on big marketing packages. Here's all these things. I'm just going to tell you, what do you really need to cut out all the fluff? And I'll give you an example. I was talking with a catering company just the other week, and they had spent close to $10,000 on advertising that didn't work because the people are saying, oh, this would be great for you. It was great for the people selling it, not for the business. And then when I showed them of, here's what people are searching for, their minds were blown of like, this is what people are looking for. They look, say, box lunches. They're looking for caterers in this city that's nearby, and this one, all these places where they weren't being found. It opened their mind up to new possibilities. I'm just going to tell you what you should be doing. And some businesses, I will say, hey, paid advertising is going to work great because of how people make buying decisions. But that's not the case for every single business. And here's another way of looking at it. I like to use emergency plumbers. If your toilet is erupting and it's 3 a.m., you're not going on Facebook to ask friends, or does anybody know a plumber? No, you're going straight to Google and you're going to call whoever shows up that's the closest that can get to you the fastest. That's it. So when we understand how we buy, it makes it easier to determine where we need to position ourselves.
That's an excellent example. And thank you for sharing that, because it really does cause us to think differently. And that's exactly why I love working alongside innovative strategists like yourself, because we have to go where people need us to be. How we need to show up. How we show up is so incredibly important. And I also love the fact that you just said no fluff. Tremendous amount of small business owners complain that advertising doesn't work, and it's not because it doesn't work, it's because it's not being done correctly. And there's also part of my 7 steps of boosting your credibility online is sometimes there's actually holes in your online foundation. And so Byron is of that kind of authentic character that he will say, no, this isn't going to work because you're not set up properly here, here, and here. Because if you don't have your foundation set up properly, when people are looking into you and they don't find enough credibility or validity that you are legitimate or that you are going to do good work, they won't choose you no matter what Google serves you up. So you have to be set up properly on a few other fronts, and then the advertising will work. Right, Byron?
Right. And here's something else I want you to think about, because there's so many different options. What you're going to hear people saying, oh, you need to do this first, whatever. When you're found, like, let's say on Google Maps for your business, many times people say, oh, this is close by. They're going to look at the listing that's there. They can see your hours of operation. They can see the reviews. And many times they're going to make their buying decision right off of that, or they're going to give you a call. Many times they're not even looking at your website because you're right there. They might go to, let's say if you're a restaurant, to look at the menu, but that's about it. So the importance of having an expansive website for a lot of local businesses is not as important as being found. Because what I see happen too often is people put too much money in the wrong things. And then when it comes to getting them in front of people, their budget is gone. So you have to put things in the right order today. There was a day and age where you needed to have that website because that was the hub of your business. And that was what was being found. No, now it's the listing on Google that's being found first.
Okay, so I'm just going to reiterate for those of you who just tuned in. So please go to Google My Business and just search for Google My Business on the search browser window in your mobile or your desktop computer, and click on the first link that pops up and create a Google My Business account for your business. Please do this. It is so critical for you to be discovered by Google. And then make sure you fill out all of the profile information correctly so that people understand what your business is, the name of your business, and when you are open and where you are located. Because that Google Maps feature, even if you don't necessarily, like maybe you have an online virtual business, still list your business address because it will help you. People want to support local businesses. They really, really do. So let yourself be discovered there, and it's free to do this. And then add as many images and use good quality images. Just don't put anything up there that doesn't make you shine. Use good quality images and video if you have any. Show people enjoying you in your business. Let people relate to you as the human being, not just the corporation. Am I correct on that, Byron?
Yes, totally. That's super important. And something else to be thinking about, because if your audience, I need to register myself. You need to make sure that you have an address that will work. If you have, let's say, a post office box, a UPS box, or something like that, that's not going to work anymore with Google My Business. You actually need a physical address. Now, you can use, let's say there's virtual offices that are out there. You can use those. There's, your co-working spaces. There's things like that, but it needs to be an actual address. That's the important thing that you're looking for. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if you just Google, let's say virtual of addresses, you're going to find companies out there that have them. And it just depends on where you are. If you're in a smaller community, you might have to look at some type of co-working space or of companies that do that. But there are options just about anywhere, unless you live in a one-horse town.
Yes, Google does want to make sure that you are legitimate. And so they do have a process to become Google verified. And that is what he's talking about. It's so important for you to have an actual physical address to which they can send mail. And they know it's not just a PO box. They want to know it's an actual business. So that is another great way for Google to serve you up even more, is if you get Google verified, which is also a free process. And then you get like this little thing in the mail that lets you know that you are Google verified, and you get like this little thing you can put up in your window to let people know that you're a verified Google business. It just all adds to the social proof and the validity of your business. And so I'm going to just go ahead and wrap this up. If you want to reach out to Byron, because he is an amazing human being and also a very innovative strategist, you can go to azuremedia.co, azuremedia.co, and he will spend 30 minutes complimentary meeting with you, looking at your business to help you determine what you should be doing next. No fluff, right, Byron?
No fluff.
No fluff, straight to it. We're going to help you be successful and get discovered so that you can scale your business. Anything else, Byron? What would be a quote or a favorite phrase that you would like to leave with people and let it resonate in their minds?
A great quote that's going to help you is, if you run out of doors to knock on, start building more doors.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you, Byron, for showing up here and giving us such incredibly valid quality knowledge about how to get discovered by Google. And I also want to thank you for listening and tuning in today to the Tech with Heart show. If you are an expert that can provide value back to our entrepreneurial audience like Byron, please reach out to us at techwithheartnetwork.com. Or if you want more insights from other business experts, join our family and community and heart-centered network at techwithheartnetwork.com. We are on many platforms online, and we provide nothing but value, value, value. And we even have an opportunity for you to shine on our website through a business directory or an influencer directory. So visit techwithheartnetwork.com. And until next time, here's to your success.